Hi, I'm David Boje, and
I'm Grace Ann Roselle.
we've got this thing going called Conversational Storytelling for Business Success. And we want to understand how HORSESENSE relates to all this, Grace Ann. Can you tell us?
Can you be more specific in your question?
Can you tell us how HORSESENSE can help a business owner?
Well, there are numerous ways. Let me start with something I was just thinking about. It just popped into my head a little bit earlier. I was remembering that what I discovered with horses is similar to what I learned when I worked in healthcare years ago. And that is that what some people called a bad patient, somebody who complained and asked questions and was a nuisance, they were called a bad patient. And I thought, aren't they really the better patients? Aren't they the ones that have more life in them? Isn't that the point of healthcare? So in a similar way, what you see with horses is that sometimes the more difficult ones are more intelligent, more sensitive, and more aware. And it's us, the managers, the person trying to communicate with them, who have the issue of not being able to handle that much communication, that much openness and honesty. So some horses are a lot more sensitive to everything in their environment. And some people might label them a bad horse, a spooky horse, a jumpy horse. And some of that may be true, but often they're very intelligent and they're very aware. And we need to learn as managers how to use that, literally harness that awareness and intelligence and make it work for both of us.
Okay. And can this help with employees that are a bit hard to deal with? To look at them as kind of intelligent in their own way?
I think so. And what you find with horses is that the more sensitive horse requires a better rider. So the implication to extend that to the management situation is a highly skilled worker, an intelligent worker, probably requires a better manager.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's kind of like when we go get trained every week and learn dressage. We need a trainer sometimes.
Yes, and training doesn't ever end.
Oh.
Because people are constantly growing and changing and evolving, and we can constantly be learning.
So you make a big case for embodiment, that working with horses, we become more aware of embodiment in the workplace. Is that true?
Yes.
You want to tell us about it? I don't want to pry the secrets out of you.
Okay. A little story from my experience. So my old stallion, Nadian, there was a period of time when I was letting his tail grow, and the hair in his tail grow out longer than the ground, because if it's on the ground, they step on it and breaks off. So his tail was real thick, and when I tied it up, he would untie it.
Oh.
So I tied up only half of it, because what he was telling me was, I need that tail to swish flies.
Okay.
So I bundled up half of his tail, braided it, and knotted it so it wouldn't drag on the ground. And his tail did grow to be a foot dragging on the ground, which you only then unbind it, unbraid it for brief show periods when he can show off his huge tail.
It was very beautiful. Yeah.
But I was doing this one year, and as I was cleaning his feet and asking him to pick up each hoof, and I was cleaning them, he would hit me with the tail. And that knot in the center of the tail would hit me. And I'm thinking, stupid horse. Why is he doing this? He's hitting me with his tail and he doesn't realize. Well, months and months later, it could have been even a year later, this was happening, and it suddenly hit me. The reason he was hitting me with his tail was because I had braided it and then knotted it up high. The knot slid down. And the knot, when he would go to swish his tail at a fly, he'd hit himself with the knot also. So it finally dawned on me, his message to me, the dense person who's not paying attention and assuming stupid horse. It wasn't stupid horse, it was stupid me not paying attention to the many times he was saying, look how this hits me every time I try to swat a fly. Isn't that annoying?
Yes, it is.
Can you do something about that?
Please do something.
So finally I got the message and corrected my behavior, and things went much more smoothly. So we're not always aware of what someone else in their unique position is experiencing.
Okay.
Very cool. Often they're trying to tell us, but we're not listening. Either we don't want to hear it because we don't want to deal with it, or we don't know how to, or we're just too busy on our own issues.
So, do you think horse sense has helped our ability to have conversations with each other?
I hope so.
And how would that carry over in the workplace, for example? Rather than trying to persuade the horse, are you using something called invitational rhetoric, inviting a conversation with the horse?
Well, you could call it that.
Okay, I will.
You could call it that. I think the point is to say, when someone's being annoying, what are they really trying to say? So just asking, is something bothering you? But sometimes that kind of question can appear hostile.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to find out, what are they experiencing?
Yeah.
And what are they trying to get across to me? And I can always say, it seems... Okay.
We have dogs here,
Something is bothering the puppies.
I've noticed that when we're walking with them, I used to drag the little one, Cuddle Bear, along. But now I stop and I look and I say, well, is something in his paw? Is he looking over there afraid of something? Mm-hmm. So I'm a lot more sensitive now.
Yes, and our initial reaction often is, they're not doing what I want, and therefore they are wrong. And they're not listening, it's them, blaming them. And we need to look at ourselves and be more aware of what's going on and what we can do to improve the situation.
Oh, cool. And tell us what a workshop would look like if people wanted to use it with horses at their corporation or university or something, and what would it look like if they didn't use horses? Can they still have horse sense?
Yes, I've done an activity in my classes where I use toilet paper.
Toilet paper? Okay. I guess that's a resource we can find about everywhere.
And we designate one person a leader and the other the follower. And the leader is connected to the follower by a string of toilet paper.
Okay, I'm seeing it.
So this is to look at how refined can our communication be, and how can we be more sensitive and more aware, to the point that a string of toilet paper remains unbroken while we coordinate our actions.
Okay, and I could see that. Wow. So if I pull too hard, I'm going to break the bond between us, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And if I'm pulling somewhere that my follower is unable to go...
Oh, over a desk or something. Yeah. Oh, this could be great fun. Yeah.
And then there are various challenges that you can... And the toilet paper exercise is one way to do it. There are others. You can use ropes. You can do things with a partner. And the whole point, and this, it always seemed to me that people use a lot of sports analogies in looking at management. And to me, the horse and rider situation is a much closer approximation, a much better parallel to management, because we're managing that relationship between leaders and followers, between co-workers, between follower and follower. And they are, and we want them to be, intelligent, self-motivated, active participants.
Okay. I can see that. That would really help with leadership and teamwork and better communication all around. I can picture it now. The CEO and the vice presidents holding strands of toilet paper. Or rope if they prefer, right? Yeah, so you went to various places to work with people, and they had horses there. Does that work out?
I actually prefer that, because then people can see me introducing myself to the horse, trying to establish communication with that horse, and see that it's not a trick that, like the old-fashioned, okay, trigger, count to 3. 1, 2, 3.
I remember that.
And they say that, the horse picked up on very subtle body cues from the owner, person who's giving the command. And that's how they knew how to count to 3 or 4, whatever it was. So, and if horses can do that, certainly we can also. And certainly we do.
See.
People pick up on the cues of when your boss says, tell me the truth, do they really want to hear the truth? And we learn to read when they sincerely do, and when we are putting our own well-being at risk.
I see. So I can see how this would help conversational storytelling, right? If I can read your body language a little better, it helps a relationship, or if I read my boss or people I work with, and they can read my body language a little bit clearer, right? Okay. Well, that's fun. Yeah. Anything else you want to add about ensemble leadership, herd behavior, or anything like that?
Well, sometimes I think that people we think are less troublesome employees that always do what they're told, that kind of thing. That we're not getting full communication sometimes.
I see.
Because they've have these learned rote responses, and it hides maybe their other concerns, uncertainty, not sure that they fully agree with the path that we're indicating. I found that I learned a lot working with untrained horses. And so in management, we have people, we don't call it training, but it is training. So when they were in a classroom and disagreed with the teacher, and the teacher wasn't pleased, people learn not to disagree. People learn not to speak up. What's the old military thing? Never volunteer, or something like that.
Right.
So we all have been trained in certain ways. And so we need to recognize that the person who obeys all the time, that's another form of training.
Okay.
And so I think we want to look deeper, get beyond an automatic response, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, obedient or disobedient. We want to establish a deeper communication so we understand where the other person is coming from and what they want to convey and how we can make it safe for them to convey their message to us.
Oh, beautiful. Well, let's wrap it up. Thank you all for tuning in. This is conversational storytelling for business success, and we offer seminars and an annual summit and an annual conference. And
so I still feel like we're not going to say business success because somebody's going to go, see, it's all BS anyway.
It's all BS anyway. Well, what would you prefer to say?
Just business.
Conversational storytelling for business. You can find out more at Conversational Storytelling Institute, csistory.com is how you can get a hold of us. And I hope you've enjoyed the video. Give us a like, a subscribe, and share it with your friends. All right? Thank you very much.
I think I was still looking at you more than a couple of times I looked at the camera.
You're still in the air.